If you're like me, then looking up how to do a bullet journal weekly log on Pinterest is one of the most overwhelming experiences ever. There are so many different options. I've been experimenting with how to make this bullet journal layout for my weekly log for a couple years now, and I've perfected it to exactly the way I want it laid out. And if you're looking for a step-by-step explanation of how to create one that you're gonna like, feel free to just follow this and steal mine. Hey, I'm Becca with the Happy Ever Crafter, and if you haven't seen the monthly bullet journal setup or the yearly bullet journal setup, you need to go watch those two videos before you start this one, because that's like step 1 and 2. We're on to step 3 now, which is working through the weekly bullet journal setup. This is the one you're gonna be repeating every week of the year, and so you really wanna find a layout that works for you. And like I said, I've been experimenting with this one and I've nailed this one to exactly what I want. So if you're like me, you might like this one too. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it, so let's jump right in. All right, first things first is tools for this video. I have an Archer and Olive journal, and this is just a really nice high quality journal with really thick, nice pages, but you can use any journal you want for your own purposes. Then I have a Uniball Sino DX pen, 0.38. This is what I use just for normal writing. I really like the way that pen works. Then I have a Zebra Mild Liner, which is a highlighter. I'm using the yellow because I used yellow for my January monthly log, and I want to match that with my weekly log, but you can use any color you want. I have a Tombow Fudeno Suke, which is a really nice brush pen if you do any brush lettering, again, optional. And then I have a Micron 0.5 pen. This is just a nice thick archival ink that is really nice to use. And I have a ruler. Now I also have a couple things that I'm gonna be using in this video that are totally optional. This is a little stencil and this is some washi tape. And these are both things that you can get in my goodies box, which I'll link to down below. It's full of journaling supplies. These are two of my favorite things from that box. So I'm gonna be using these a little bit in the video, but I'll show you how to do it without them anyway. Okay, so like I said, I've been doing this weekly spread for a couple years now, so I know exactly how to make it. If you don't know how to make the design that you want to ever make in your bullet journal, I super suggest doing it in pencil first or doing a little sketch on a separate piece of paper before you go right into your journal, because it's kind of hard to undo once you've done it. But like I said, I know exactly what I'm doing with this one, so I'm just going to do it step by step and walk you through it. Okay, this specific layout that we're doing requires us to cut a page in half, and you'll see why, but just trust me. So first step is to count the squares or count the dots and find the exact half of this page. So I'm gonna draw a line and then I'm gonna cut the page in half. You could also just fold your page and then cut it wherever that half is, but I like to do it exact. So there we go. Okay, so now I've got my page cut in half, and what this does is it gives us more room to work with. So now this is like an extra little half page in the middle, but it keeps this spread still all as one. Next step is gonna be to mark off where you want your header. So I want about this many dots at the top of my page so that I can write my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm gonna draw a vertical line or a horizontal line across the page, and I'm gonna carry it through into this half page as well. And I'm actually gonna try and make it look like it's continuing through where the fold in the page is. And I'm gonna carry it right onto the page in behind. And then I'm gonna flip over my little half piece and add the line in on this side too. Just trying to make it look as continuous as possible. Okay, so now I've got my header separated up here. And I know personally that I actually like to put a second line here. And you'll see why in a little bit, but if you're following along, just do exactly as I do here. Add a second line 2 dots below. Then what you're gonna do is take your highlighter, whatever color you're using, and similar to what we did in the monthly log, we're gonna do 2 lines of color, 2 lines of white, 2 lines of color, 2 lines of white, and we're gonna do that down most of the page. So starting right underneath that second line we did, I'm gonna do 2 lines of yellow, and then leave 2 lines of white. And then I'm going to do 2 lines of yellow, 2 lines of white. You're basically right now creating 2 lines per hour of the day. Now, this is what I like to do because I like to see my planner in hours, but a lot of bullet journalers like to just have a blank space that they can fill things in and use their symbols. If you've ever read the bullet journaling book, that's what is explained in there. I just really like to see my day broken down in hours. So I've got 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna go right till 5 o'clock. So this is 4, and then blank would be 5. And you know what? I'll actually do a 6 to 6 o'clock. So go 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and that's usually, realistically, that's usually my work day. So I've done that on the first page. I'm going to repeat the same thing on this half piece and the same thing on my far side, except on this far side, I know I only want to do it till halfway. So I know by this little piece that this mark here is halfway, so I'm only going to do my highlighter to there. So just complete this. Okay, the highlighter is all done. Now I'm going to take my ruler and my micron pen again, and I'm going to draw the vertical lines to separate the days. So again, I want to go halfway through this page, so I know from doing this one that it's exactly here. I'm going to draw my vertical line to separate these 2 days. So this is going to be Monday and Tuesday. And then these ones are already separated by the center. If you wanted to, you could draw a little black line in there. I don't think it's super necessary. And then same thing here. I'm gonna draw my black line to separate this one. And there we have it. So now we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'm gonna do one for the weekend here. So the way I like to do this is I actually just draw a straight line here, and I separate this in 2. Okay, so now this is Saturday, Sunday. If you wanted to, you could carry through your yellow lines if you liked the look of it, or you could color that all in yellow, but I don't actually separate my weekends by the hours of the day because it's a weekend, so I'm just gonna leave these blank, and I usually put 1 or 2 things on each of those days. Next, I'm gonna take my Uniball pen and I'm gonna write the hours of the day. So starting up here, I've got 6 a.m., 7, 8, 5, 6. You could just do this on the left-hand side and remember that it's the same for all of them, but I like to put it on every day. And if you accidentally write 13, 14, 15, 16 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, whiteout is your best friend. I know that it kind of screws up the yellow here, but generally if you put a little bit of highlighter on top of it, it's not too noticeable. And then in this top little box here that I left with that double line, I like to put 1 priority for the day. So I'm gonna write the word priority in each of these boxes. And then in these ones, I like to write Saturday and Sunday, but I'll write it a little bigger. Okay. Next, I'm gonna take my brush pen and I'm gonna write the days of the week on top of each of these. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, if you don't know how to do brush lettering, you can do whatever kind of lettering you want here. It doesn't have to be calligraphy, it doesn't have to be fancy, it can just be your handwriting. This is really just for you. Now, if you're new to the channel and you've never learned brush calligraphy before, it is really my main focus of teaching. So if you're looking at this thinking you can't do this kind of writing, I'd love to teach you. You should scroll the rest of my channel and see the rest of the videos I have on here for that. My next step is to use this section here, and this is the section I like to use for my to-do list. So I've got all the hours of the day in every day of the week, and then I've got my weekend, but I like to have just an overall weekly to-do list in this section. So you can write this however you want, but I'm gonna just write the words to do here. Just in some casual block letters. And then I'm gonna make them look a little bit 3D just because I like the way that that little extra touch looks. If you don't know how to do this, feel free to skip that, or you can go check out the video I have about shading your letters. And then this is the part where I'm gonna take my special stencil here and I'm gonna add some little check boxes. Now, if you don't have this stencil, obviously you don't have to use this. You can just draw squares on your own. But I love the way that this stencil works because they're already automatically spaced out perfectly. And they end up perfectly square and really nice and perfect. Then I'm gonna take my thicker marker. I'm just gonna add a little drop shadow on each one just to embellish them a little bit. So on the left and the bottom of each square, just a little thicker line there to make them really pop. And that's my to-do section. Next, again, with one of my special products here, I'm gonna use this tape and I'm gonna make a little border along the bottom. But if you don't have this tape, it doesn't have to be this. You can just doodle whatever you want on here. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna link to my whole playlist of how to do floral doodles that you can add to any of this stuff. But I'm gonna show you how this tape works because it's one of my favorite products in the world. And then I'm gonna line it up with the left-hand side of my page, and I want it to go right along the bottom. So I'm just lining it up here. Right along the bottom of the page. Stick it on and run it across. And when you get to an edge here, I just really push it down nicely so it sticks in the fold of the page. Carry it over. And I'll even bring it onto the other side here. So I'll just fold it over the page, keeping it aligned with the bottom. And bring it all the way across. And then a really easy way to cut this. So just line up your ruler, pull it tight, and pull. And it cuts perfectly on the edge. So now I've got this really simple border that looks like I drew it on. But again, if you don't have the tape, you can just doodle your own. So now that you have your yearly, your monthly, and your weekly set up, you can really easily see your whole year at a glance, and then your whole month at a glance, and then your whole week at a glance. So all you need to do now is go into your month, find the things that are gonna be happening in this week and migrate those things over. And that's how you use a bullet journal: the yearly, the monthly, and the weekly. And you just keep repeating that. So with that, we're concluding this 3-part bullet journaling series. Of course, there are a million different ways you can do a bullet journal, and this actually is more of a planner than a bullet journal. So if you're a bullet journaler, don't come after me. I'm just trying to show people how I do it, and I know a lot of people will relate to the way that I do it as well. So lots of different bullet journaling methods out there, but hopefully you enjoyed this. And if you want to start decorating it and doing some fancier stuff, I've got a lot of other videos on that. So I'm gonna link to one of my floral doodle videos next, so you can easily add those to your own bullet journal. And I'll see you over there.